Hello, I'm Mr. Pule, your instructor, of course. Who else would be here? Anyhow, this is the risk management introduction in module 1 of the course. This is not real heavy here. It's kind of light, but just kind of get you thinking about risks in general, talk about different kinds of risks. And there's a short quiz after this, just kind of see if you're paying attention. Anyhow, you should have already viewed the 2 videos under Welcome Students, General Orientation 2024, which is the same for both courses that I teach, and Specific Orientation, Risk Management 2024, which of course is this class, Risk Management. That's it right there. So I don't know why this bar up here was way down here, but anyhow, courses Risk Management, book reviews required, Risk Management Tools for Safety Professionals by Bruce K. Lyon and Georgie Popov. It's available at the American Society of Safety Professionals, ASSP.org, the bookstore, and probably Amazon, and probably every one of you is way better at figuring out where to buy books than I am. So what is risk management? In occupational safety, risk management is a formal process for identifying hazards, evaluating and analyzing risks associated with those hazards, then taking action to eliminate the hazards or control the risks that can't be eliminated to minimize injury or an illness potential. Why is it important in safety? Risk is the main cause of uncertainty in any organization. As a safety professional, you can help your organization identify and manage risks before an incident happens. That's being called proactive. And we all know that's way better in safety than being reactive. While your organization must comply with regulations, where am I at here? While your organization must comply with regulations and reduce its injury rate, those metrics force a rear view mirror or reactive perspective. So, accidents already happened. Now you kind of, but you're trying to do it. What we're trying to do with risk management is principles that can help you proactively reduce risk, advance safety, and drive a return on investment from safety programs. Again, I'm an instructor, Mr. Pule. There's my phone number, 918-839-6990. And there's my email and this piece of information you won't have any trouble finding in this course. You can call me or text me if you have questions about the assignments or anything else. If your number isn't in my phone, I probably won't answer it. So leave a message or text me. Now, if it has your name on it, well, I get it, and then I'll probably answer it. But I get so many bogus phone calls that it's terrible. Anyhow, this is a 3-credit-hour class, so be prepared to spend about 3 hours a week on course material, not including assignments, just like you would for an in-person class. No handwritten assignments will be accepted. Use a word processor or Blackboard. That shouldn't be a problem. By taking this class online, you're indicating that you are responsible enough to do this work on your own and on time. Remember, all modules are open on day 1, and starting on January 28th, one module each Sunday will close, and they will no longer be available for the semester. Risk management means different things to different people, and particularly to different occupations. When you woke up this morning looking at the day ahead, did you think about the risk you might meet? Probably not, unless you're a skydiver. Yet calculating risk and managing risk are part of the human experience. And you don't think about it all the time, it's there. For some, risk means danger. For others, reward. In the investment world, risk typically is equated with reward. In the insurance industry, it's equated with loss. Generally, in the workplace, risk is defined as a function of hazard and exposure. For instance, an unguarded chain and sprocket 10 feet off the floor working surface is not considered much of a risk, even by OSHA. But if it was 3 feet off the floor, it would be. And it actually happened to me. That happened on an ocean inspection. There was a chain and sprocket that was about 10 feet off the floor, and the ocean inspector saw it and says, nobody knew because nobody was around it. So nobody working with it. You can't. So it wasn't a risk and a hazard. So when you invest money in a mutual fund or retirement fund, your agent will or should ask you how much risk you are willing to take so they have an idea of how to invest to meet your needs. When you get a life insurance policy, the insurance provider is risking that you will live long enough to pay in more than they will pay out. So they're going to want information about your health and lifestyle. In this class, we will focus on risks to employees in the workplace, although we will look at some other areas as well, maybe. Well, let's compare some everyday risks. We're talking about risk. This is risk management, right? So what's more dangerous, your washing machine or your vacuum cleaner? I'm sure you never think about, I'm going to vacuum the floor because it's taking a risk. Washing machines are more likely to injure you but clothes dryers are more likely to kill you. I don't know if anybody's ever been killed by a clothes dryer, but I guess it can happen. On the other hand, floor care equipment causes more injuries than either washers or dryers. So I guess you could get hurt by doing anything pretty much, though. So what's more dangerous, lightning or hail? Don't stand under that tree. Lightning kills about 42 people a year in the USA, but there are very few recorded instances of hail kills, the last being a baby in Colorado in 1979. How sad. Baby killed by lightning. Note that you are slightly more likely to be killed by lightning than to die in a plane crash, but you are more likely to be killed by a meteor strike than by lightning. Now, how does that figure out? That's because a very large meteor or comet could wipe out mankind, whereas lightning generally kills only one person at a time. So that's how these risks are done. All right. What's more dangerous in the backyard, a trampoline or a swimming pool? Trampolines send nearly 100,000 people to the emergency room each year but cause very few deaths. More than 1,000 people die each year in swimming pools. So here comes the severity comes in, because going to the emergency room is bad enough, but dying is the worst case of severity in an accident. So what's the most dangerous age? I mean, how the person's chronological age. After our 20s, our mortality rates increase each year. So the most dangerous is the oldest. The first year of life, though, is more dangerous than any other age below about 60. So once you make it to 1, then your risk goes down until you get to about 60. What's the most dangerous ride in an amusement park? About half of amusement park deaths are related to roller coasters, 1/4 to water rides, and the remaining 1/4 or quarter to others. What's more dangerous, bees or sharks? I don't know about you, but I don't have any sharks in my backyard. In this case, danger comes in small packages. You're 50 times more likely to be killed by a bee than by a shark. Of course, it doesn't make the front page when somebody gets bitten by a bee. Stung by a bee, I guess is the right word. Okay, what's more dangerous, a car or a gun? So, again, you can put this in certain instances. If somebody's pointing a car at you or pointing a gun at you, it could be a big difference. But you're substantially more likely to be killed by a car than by a gun. Highway deaths exceed 40,000 annually. Gunshot fatalities around 33,000, but that consists of 18,000 suicides, 14,000 murders, only about 1,000 accidents. So, of course, if somebody's going to murder you, they can use either one, I guess. What's more dangerous, driving drunk or driving stoned? No, you can't make this a project for this class. Okay, don't even think about it. About 2% of the driving population is drunk, but they cause about 40% of auto fatalities. Many drunks also test positive for drugs, so comparing these numbers can be difficult. Also, alcohol metabolizes fairly quickly, while other drugs can be detected for weeks after ingestion. That's one of the problems with drug testing that was pretty unfair, because you can get wasted on one night, excuse me, and the next day be fine, come to work. If you take a drug, you may be perfectly not under the influence of that drug, but still test positive for it. So generally, it's considered that drunk driving is more dangerous than driving stoned. What's more dangerous, texting or drinking coffee while driving? It's more dangerous to text than to drink coffee while driving, because you have to look away from the road to the cell phone. What's more dangerous, living on top of the San Andreas Fault in California or living at the foot of Mount St. Helens in Washington State? I lived in Southern California for 28 years and had some pretty wicked earthquakes, but not enough to hurt me or damage my property. But when we drove up to the desert, you could see the San Andreas Fault. It was pretty clear. And so deaths from these disasters: earthquake in China, 830,000 people; volcano in Indonesia, 92,000 people. Earthquake caused tsunami in 2004, 220,000 people; a volcano, 36,000 people. So you can see earthquakes are far more common than volcano events. So it's probably more dangerous to live on top of the San Andreas Fault than at the foot of Mount St. Helens. Also, volcanoes aren't all over the world. Earthquakes are almost everywhere. What's the most dangerous occupation in the United States? Coal miner, crab fisherman? No, this probably will surprise you. It surprised me. It's President of the United States. Why is that? There haven't been that many presidents, but 4 of them have been assassinated: Abraham Lincoln, James A. Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy. Now, I wasn't around for the first three, but I was a senior in high school when John F. Kennedy was assassinated in November 1963. It was a pretty traumatic experience. And to this day, I remember they plugged in the speakers into the classroom, and everybody was talking about the grassy knoll. And to this day, I still believe there were shots fired from the grassy knoll. Be sure to get the book. There's a lot of good stuff in it, and you'll need it. Also, you might need this book in your career. It's not a bad idea to have it as kind of a reference book. Answering questions to test. Be sure to answer the questions accurately. If asked who should be trained in something and you answer employees, but the answer is employees who are involved in the process, then your answer is incorrect. You got to answer, you can't answer too generally. Be sure to read the question. Frequently, the students read the first part of a question and answer it when it's a 2 or more part question. But they'll give me a perfectly good answer, but just not to the question. Read the question. CSB, which is the Chemical Safety Board videos. I like these a lot. What do we learn from them? These are real accidents where real people were killed and injured. These are things that happen when safety is not given the proper attention. You can never coast when it comes to safety. These accidents, and they do a good study of them, investigate them. They're really good videos. People make mistakes. Companies should recognize this and put procedures into place to take that into consideration, such as 2 people to do a particularly dangerous or critical job. I was in nuclear weapons when I was in the Air Force, and nuclear weapons, every time there was a nuclear weapon, there was called a no-load zone. Culture of safety around nukes. You couldn't have 2 people or one person around a nuclear weapon. In fact, there was a thing on a counter on the door to the bay where we went into, and every time you went in, you had to click it up 1. Every time you come in, click it down 1, so we knew how many people were in the bay. Near misses should not be ignored. Frequently, the thought is, whew, that was close, and then move on. These should be investigated, even if as if they were accidents, or they will be. For instance, something falls off a shelf above and smashes down beside you, a couple of brick, let's say, or something like that. Everybody says, whew, that was close, right? And moves on. They shouldn't. They should take that and investigate it and find out what happened, because the next time they might hit you on the head. It is said that OSHA regulations are written in blood. Unfortunately, the CSB videos support that saying. From my personal experience, accident victims frequently say, we've always done it that way. Or I've done that 1,000 times, not any problems. It only takes once to get seriously injured. Where do I hear these people say that? Well, frequently when I worked with OK Foods, if there was an accident, I'd go to the hospital. Not necessarily take the person there, but meet the person, go to the hospital, try to find out how the person was by all means. And also to talk to them about it, try to get their input in what happened. And most of the time they weren't deathly injury or weren't unconscious, but and sure enough, they'd say something like, what were you doing? And well, we've always done it that way. Or I've done it 1,000 times in the before. Oh, that's right. That's probably, these probably are true statements, both of them. So anyhow, it takes once to get seriously injured. Some common concepts that we talk about through the classes. Proactive and reactive. I already touched on a little bit. Proactive means acting in anticipation of future problems, needs, or dangers, taking action before something happens. Reactive, occurring as a result of stress or emotional upset, doing something after the fact. So what's better in safety? Obviously, proactive. Reactive is OSHA. It's reacting to all the accidents that we're having before it. So that's OSHA was entirely reactive, trying to get OSHA being proactive. And I got to admit, I'm perfectly happy with OSHA. No, but we would be in bad shape without it. Simply put, proactive is doing something before the event happens. Reactive is doing something after it happens, simply put. Qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative is of or related to involving quality or kind, defined by feelings or words rather than by numbers. You know, is it hot or cold in here? Hot, warm, cold, or high, low, medium, that type of thing. Where quantitative, of or related to or expressible in terms of quantity, defining something with numbers, saying, okay, it's 85 degrees in here. Okay, that might be warm, but the warm would be qualitative and quantitative would be at 85 degrees. There you go. Cold, warm, hot, very hot, and quantitative 90 degrees, 75 degrees, 20 degrees, 75 degrees, 90 degrees, 110 degrees. So that's it for this introduction to risk management. I think if you'll learn a lot out of this class, and I won't say good luck again because luck doesn't have anything to do with it. So that's it. Let's get on with it. And I will again